Hey everybody. So, in the last video, I showed you that it was dead. Well, since then I've shot a lot of video, but I don't really want to edit it, so I'm going to just bring you up to speed on what's going on. The 1NZ, I was able to get the cams out, and that shut all the valves, and then I pulled the front cover off and pulled the timing chain off. But I went ahead and did a leak down test, and it passed. Everything passed. Everything was within specs. So I don't know. Maybe I'm just one lucky crazy person, because I do not believe I have bent valves. So with that, I went ahead and put the cams back in, put everything back in time, sealed it up. Then I ran a compression test, albeit by hand, but everything was within 10% of each other. I would actually say about 7% of each other, and it wasn't low compression. So I'm going to say that this engine's still good. I did go ahead and double check that my torque wrench was set. I was torquing properly, and that the just to be extra special careful, I went ahead and hit some Loctite on that cam bolt that was loose or had backed out. So I don't know if it was either I didn't torque it down or it worked its way loose, but now it should be fine. So I went ahead and torqued everything properly. It's all back together. Put the new spark plugs in it, and I did a few other odds and ends. Went ahead and put the actual MR2 reverse light switch, because the one that was on there was for some other plug, and I didn't feel like trying to adapt, so I just bought a reverse light switch. And I did the oil pressure sensor from the MR2, because on this engine, it was just a dummy light, so the oil pressure would just instantly go over to high. So that didn't do me any good. I need to know what the oil pressure was. So took a half day off from work, and I'm going to go ahead and stab this thing back in. And then also got to do some brakes on my Lexus, so might bring y'all along for that too. Nothing spectacular there, but you know, some people like to see that kind of stuff, so I might shoot some video on that. But also I fixed the return line. I'll show you that here in just a second. Hold on. Alright, so before, the return line came out of here and ran all the way down here hardline, because from the stock 5 EFE it would actually run back along the rail because it's turned around. But anyway, so what I did is I cut it. Let's see if you can get in there. I cut it, and I went ahead and put my fuel return line on it, and that way I don't have to modify a whole lot of stuff. And then this side will just go on to the body hard lines. And I did see that instead of having to run the heater core line all the way over here, that's just temporary, so I know that I need to put a cap on it. I'm actually going to run it off of this line right here. And you can see that I've got the MR2 oil pressure sensor there. Sorry, out of focus. And this was actually turned the other way stock, but since it is symmetrical, it just works. So I just turned it because it's going to go right there. Right about there for a coolant line. And then what I'll do is I'll come off the other one and come up and into the fill neck, and then drop down into this one here. Sorry. So that's pretty much all I've done as far as just working on this while it was out. I did fab me a pull for my oil dipstick because it was broke off whenever I got it, and I'm just too cheap right now to go get another one. So that should work just fine for what I need right now, and that's about it. So there we have it. I'm going to try to get this engine in the car today. I don't think I'm going to try to get it running today. I'm just going to get it in the car because that's the biggest time suck right now. And then I will get the other stuff hooked up. And I don't know, I might try to crank it, but I doubt it. Because I still got to get the fuel lines, and I mean the coolant lines and all that hooked up. So, here we go. And she is in. Once again. Pretty much everything is done as far as bolting it in. Still got to weld the front torque plate. I've got to put in the battery and intake and stuff like that, of course, but I've still got to work on these coolant lines. They're still giving me fits. The one that curves this way on the bottom is I'm gonna have to get some like a 180 degree or something to be able to hit the thermostat housing under the intake over there. It's too much for the flex hose that I have, so I'm gonna do that. Get that sometime here soon, and then I've got to figure out how I'm going to. Well, there we go. Run that up and over for for the fuel neck. So, yeah. So, there we have it. The engine is back in the car. Pretty much everything on the bottom end is buttoned up, with the exception of coolant lines. Fuel lines are done. I've still got to push the fuel return on a little bit more. It was not cooperating with me. I did find where when I pulled my fuel tank out, I didn't put the clamp back on one of the breather hoses for the fuel tank down on the bottom, so I got to fix that. But other than that, it's mostly done. I did go in. I did get some brake hardware, the little clips and everything for the both front and rear. I went ahead and put it on the rear. Still got to do the front, but I'm focusing everything on the rear right now because that's about all the time I had for today. I'm so filthy because I just did the brakes on my Lexus. It was nothing to write home about. They were fine, so I didn't even take any pictures of it. So next time I do some brakes, if you want to say it, just let me know in the comments below. But I did notice before I put the engine in, I checked the transmission fluid when it was still on the bench, and it's low. So I do have to make a note to put that back in there. But other than that, it's pretty much back where it was before the timing jumped. So we'll just have to see. So if you like this, give it a big old thumbs up. Even a greasy one, doesn't matter. I'm wearing grease too, so. But if you want to see more videos like this, just hit that big old subscribe button. And click that little bell out next to the side of it. That way you get notified whenever I upload a video. I promise not to bug you too much because, well, these things takes time. And I want to bring you along for the ride, but, man, I could get a whole lot more done if I didn't have to video. But I know a few of you, at least a few of you, enjoy this kind of thing, so that's why I do it. So, anyway, until next time.